It's over!
It's over! It's over! That's what I'm saying, boy!
Oh!
He got dropped!
It's over! It's over! Munoz! Oh my God!
The middleweights will take action also on the prelims. Abu Azaitar takes on Sedriques Dumas in what would be an exciting bout. Now, this one, through my research, was actually a little bit interesting because you start by looking at their records combined. Azaitar, although 38 years old, isn't very active at all, and Dumas is kind of new to mixed martial arts, so I'm going into this as a blank slate. Now look at their record: knockouts on both sides, decision wins on both sides, more for Abu. Dumas does have 2 submissions, but strikers always have submissions because they can land a knockdown and then maybe lock in an RNC or a guillotine against an opponent on the regional scene. So I'm thinking going into this fight, and I'm looking at the odds, Dumas favored 175. I'm thinking it's a striker versus striker. Dumas, longer, taller, probably going to be the better striker. And when I dive into some of the footage, it started to shock me a little bit. So first off, let's start with Abu Azaitar, the older brother of Ottman. He returns to the UFC after 2 years off from the sport. Once again, another long layoff, and it'll be only again his 3rd fight in the UFC in 5 years. Abu had issues in 2021 with USADA, and that had him suspended 7 months. And his brother Ottman was the fighter who took place in Baggate in Abu Dhabi back a couple months ago, I believe. I can't even remember. It's been a while. But nonetheless, the Azaitars have definitely seen some controversy in their career, but that's all besides the point. We're looking at Abu. He meets a much longer Sedriques Dumas. Abu fought basically a 3-round war against Barriault his last fight, where he landed 108 significant strikes, but was on the receiving end of 141. And Abu, he showed his style, the strength, the clinches, the wild looping shots where he commits to his combinations, pushing forward, and then is usually on the back foot for the rest of it. But in the fight, we did see this crazy output. Barriault, who loves the output, both guys engaged with a lot of significant strikes for the first 2 rounds. And Azaitar, which you can considering the layoff, Azaitar completely gassed out by the 3rd round, and we're having that spot again. So nonetheless, it could recreate itself here, but we know Abu's style. Abu, very tight, and again, commits to his forward engagements, and he throws looping strikes, and when he gets, sometimes he'll use that forward movement to get into the clinch and land some big knees. He's a heavy hitter, but again, since 2015, he's had 6 fights, and 4 of them have gone to decision, and the Marc-Andre fight was a couple seconds away from reaching a decision where he would have again lost the fight, but still, basically 5 out of 6 decisions, so he's not like a powerful knockout artist. He's not known for that. Dumas, on the other hand, also heavy-handed, but again, when I went into his recent run of fights, he hasn't been as heavy-handed as I would have expected, getting the favorite number here. He explodes into shots that kind of serves as a double-edged sword for him, especially against UFC level competition. Just looking at Josh Fremd, he was able to counter successfully when Dumas lunged at striking attempts. But as for grappling, this is where I was a little bit surprised. I didn't think he would prefer this in the least. Fremd landed a submission and out-grappled Dumas for the entirety of that fight, submitting him via guillotine. But then we go to the Brundage fight, and Brundage, right when the bell rang, shot straight for a takedown, was successful in it, but over the first round, he shot for 2 guillotine attempts that were clear mishaps in the fight, which allowed Dumas to show off his top control, which is really, really solid. Then you go to Dumas in the Contender Series, and you see that he is willing to wrestle. Even in the Fremd fight, to be honest, he was willing to wrestle. He did shoot a couple takedown attempts in the Josh fight, but he shot a takedown in the Contender Series fight. And again, I think that might be a dark horse spot for Dumas to succeed in this fight. I think both guys prefer that this fight ends up grappling, but I do think Dumas prefers it a little bit more than Abu, and we have seen that Dumas, if he can land a takedown and end up in top control, he can hold that position. Marc-Andre Barriault, for an example, in the 3rd round, was holding Abu down that whole round. Again, exhaustion playing a huge factor in that, but still he was able to do it. So when we look at the fight as a whole, Dumas to use his cardio if this fight does remain on the feet, or use the grappling and control the top position throughout. I do like Dumas in the fight. It would be very surprising to me if the 3rd round, if it got there, wasn't an automatic Dumas round. And honestly, I'd see Dumas engaging in the grappling first, which would be a big advantage for him, because both guys, not grapplers, but if either guy has seen positions where they weren't on top and they were able to hold their opponents down. So with the grappling in mind, I'm going to sell out again and take the favorite here, because I think that his willingness to partake in the grappling and his length, reach, height will give himself an advantage in both the striking and the grappling, so I don't know why I would go away from him. A concerning thing for me about the Dumas side, though, is his training camp. I would like to see Dumas join a notable gym, or at least spend a couple training camps at one, because I think that with his age, he's just entering his prime at 28, I think he could make huge leaps in this middleweight division, and this minus 175 number against Abu Azaitar could get all the way up to a minus 250, minus 300 spot. If he tunes both his grappling and tightens up his striking, his power and length will lend itself to him being a remarkable fighter. But that'll wrap up this video, guys. If you enjoyed, smash that like button and let me know who you guys think is going to win, the younger Dumas or the 38-year-old Abu Azaitar. But that'll do it. Peace out.